Okay, let's go ahead and get into the stock market technical analysis. We'll look at the broad markets, some individual trade ideas, and we'll wrap up. Guys, drop me a thumbs up if you're finding value. Additionally, I do have a couple people commenting that I only post videos on down days, and it's just really not true. I post videos when I see technical changes, when I see updates, things to kind of take notice, or market setups or individual stock trade setups that haven't triggered yet. That's really when I try to post the videos, when there's something actionable we can take, we can participate in. So, that's really it. And then for anybody that, I have a couple people say I only post on down days and no bounces. Guys, I'm in the private member group. This is comments that I've posted. This you can see was from 2 days ago right here. That was on Friday. I basically said QQQ, close to support at 1350-ish level. Bounce is likely. I'm covering some of my Q shorts for a bounce. And then again, same thing. Towards the end of the day on Friday, QQQ hitting support at 413.75. I'm going to take a small long position trading for a bounce with a stop slightly below. So in general, that's 2 days ago on Friday. I don't post all this stuff and put out public videos for just YouTube and people just kind of hanging out and waiting to, clown on me and everything. This is for the private member group. All right. So there's a little look into kind of what's going on and how I basically call, I don't get everything right for sure, but I'm definitely not going to be able to call it play by play on the public YouTube channel and put out videos giving you the exact key levels at the time of entry, play by play. It's not possible. So that kind of stuff I reserve mostly for the private member group. It's a better way for me to kind of put that stuff out quickly. All right, so that's it. Triple Qs, guys. Oh, and if you're interested in the private member group, link in the description below. It's $5 a month. Do it or not, but if you're going to just hang out in the comment section and make comments that, you have no clue, you're kind of sitting on the outside, you're just talking to yourself. Triple Qs, guys. There's the bounce. We're starting to bounce now. If I go down to the hourly, this is the downtrend line. All right, we've been in kind of rocking down this downtrend line, starting to break out here. So this can run a little bit. If I go to the daily to kind of figure out where this can run, because again, this is a sell the rip market. Don't be mistaken. This is not the bottom, at least from my perspective. This is not the bottom and a buying opportunity. Yeah, you can trade it for a bounce, and that's what I'm doing. But I don't expect that this is just the low, and we're going to continue in off to new highs. All of these longs here for the last 2 months, they're all trapped. All right, so that is, I don't think they're going to get an opportunity to get out of their trade. So levels to kind of watch. We've got, the bottom right here. It's about 421.75-ish. Okay, we might get rejected there. If we don't, we can go up a little higher. I see about 425-ish. And then obviously the max bounce, if we get up there, I don't think we will, but we could, 433.75. All right, that would be the most objective area to short. If it does go there, sure. Is it going to get up there? I really don't think so. There's a ton of supply just overhead, right? You have to imagine these are longs. People were, going long here, the dumb money. They're all underwater if they bought positions up in this trading range, and the mentality of someone, especially long traders that are just kind of perma-long, is likely that they just want to get their money back. So there's supply overhead, all right? If you rally up and they start to get close to getting their money back, they're going to exit those positions. You're going to have a wave of sellers as you rally up. So again, sell the rip. That's kind of how I'm treating this. I think we can go a little higher from here, but I don't know if we're going to get all the way up to that 433. I'm not going to tempt it. I'm going to probably just start to flip short again as we rally up a little bit more. And then looking at the futures, you always want to kind of glance at these futures. All right, there's the Nasdaq futures. Again, same kind of downtrend line. We have bullish divergence. All right, you see it right here. This is the hourly chart, so short-term kind of time frame, but resistance, and you're starting to break out. So first level of resistance, it's about 17,610 or so. There's a level there. Another level just overhead, 17,793, and then this would correspond with that kind of major resistance up there at 18,062. All right, so those are my three levels of resistance. Do we get all the way up here? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not going to press it. I'd probably look to start covering longs and flipping back short. Either, I'll probably do it here, maybe here. We'll see. Okay, so on Friday, I closed out a bunch of my short trades because obviously was looking to flip long. And if I thought the market was going to bounce, then I would think that many of these trades were going to bounce. So we'll go ahead and look at some of these ones, like Qualcomm, right? Let me go to the daily chart here. Qualcomm, covered that. We hit support, guys. So, look, resistance, some reactions right through there. Hit that, and we're bouncing. That hit support, you bounce. Next objective level to short would be at resistance, which is about 163.54. So that's it. And yeah, you could back test. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to probably hit resistance and then continue to sell down. You'll probably, most likely, they'll hit this resistance. They'll kind of pop it up, make it look like it's going to recover, but ultimately the sellers will be stepping in right around there, about 164-ish, 163.75, somewhere right in there. And then down, we'll continue lower. All right, so that is that one. It's objective to short if we can get up there a little bit more. We also have Meta. So Meta kind of holding this trend line. If you look at the daily, I got to kind of clean it up. But if you look here, this is coming off the October or November 2022 lows. Support, and sitting right there on support. So that's it. For that one, for the next sell signal for me on this one comes on a break of that support. You have earnings coming up, so it's high risk to really have a position in this one just ahead of earnings. We haven't broken support. If it's going to break, maybe it will be on earnings, but it's really hard to say because they could pop it up and rally and make a new high too. So for me, I'm going to prefer to wait till earnings at the risk of obviously missing the trade and missing like a big gap down. But again, I'd rather mitigate the risk. So that's it on that one. SHW, again, you got resistance right there at about 314-ish, rallying today. Probably going to rally into that resistance and then get rejected. Earnings is coming right up on this one too. So tomorrow it looks like. So I don't know. I think this one closes right near resistance and then gaps down after earnings tomorrow. So that's how I'll be playing that one. I'll probably be short this one by the end of the day. SHW, let me keep going. LLY, again, right at support. Look, support. We're bouncing off support. Big negative divergence tells me this support's going to give away. But again, everything kind of hits support. So this one's catching a bounce too. Again, I think it's a shorting opportunity. If you drop down to the hourly, maybe we can kind of make out some sort of a downtrend line. Let's see, potentially or something like that. That one's a little tricky. Again, I think it probably makes sense to re-enter into a short. It's objective to re-enter a short if it hits resistance. This one doesn't really have resistance till it's all the way up here at 792 or breaks support at 728. Okay. So SMCI covered this one on Friday. This was down big. I mean, really, just Friday alone, it gapped down and then it sold off down 24%. I think it makes sense to take some profit when something's down 24%. And then equally, it hit some support right here. You can see a reaction there. So I think we get a bounce here, maybe a little continued bounce, and then boom, it'll break and continue. Probably a pretty impulsive drop after this bounce that we're kind of experiencing down lower. Schwab. This one's starting to break above. This is a bearish rising wedge, so you've got negative divergence and you have a bearish rising wedge. They're popping it above. Looks like a stop rate to me. So I'm going to stay with this one on the short side. You see these moves sometimes. They'll pop it up, run a bunch of stops, and then probably going to gap down below this wedge, below this whole entire wedge. So I'm going to stick with that. We'll add to that if we see a gap down. MPRW, this is another semiconductor. Again, I had a support marked out about 598.46, and the 200 was just below. Friday was pretty impulsive, but we still, we hit that support and boom, right back up. We're kind of holding that support. So again, should bounce into resistance is your next opportunity to short. It's about 640.50 on that one. Tesla's got earnings, I think tomorrow. Let me double check. I know it's coming up. Yeah, tomorrow, so likely after the bell, I believe, is when this one reports. It's kind of near support right here. I mean, you filled this gap, 146.7. It's about 147-ish. and we're down today, but they could rally it up. Again, I don't know. I wouldn't want to short it. All right. You have some bullish divergence. It's not confirmed, but I think they're going to come out and try to just say something positive in earnings to pop this thing back up. So honestly, if I had to pick a side, I'd want to go long. Okay. I'm not going to trade it personally, but near support, some bullish divergence right before earnings. Too high of risk to remain short on that one if you are. And if anything, I'd want to be long. I'm going to sit aside. Okay, here's a short idea. I think it's actionable now or maybe by the end of today, hour and a half or so. JP Morgan. All right, this one. This, again, broke. You had your support here. You broke on this big gap down. And then, nice little move down, rallying up into the gap. 193.50 is gap fill. So that's resistance right up there. So I wouldn't wait for it to get all the way up there. I think the sellers will step in early, but again, it might continue to rally close toward, into the close today. And it's looking objective to reshort this thing for the next leg lower down to the 200-day moving average. All right. So I do like this as a short, maybe start nibbling on it in my opinion. But obviously, if you fill the gap, that would be the most objective area to take a short position. But that's a nice one. Interest rates, kind of 10-year Treasury, kind of doing nothing. It's up slightly, but pretty much flat. And with the market sitting at support, I think it's as long as interest rates don't continue to climb, that gives the market an opportunity to rally a little bit. So that's really all we're seeing. And then if I look at like home builders, PHM, again, resistance is right up here about 109.24. So again, with the market rallying, I think you can rally up there. And then, that should be the objective area to short for another drop. Earnings coming up tomorrow. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll rally it all. That's a ways away to get all the way up there. They'd have to go up another 1.5%. Well, yeah, they could do that. So maybe another 1.5% up to into that resistance, and then you've got earnings. And obviously everything's higher risk if you are taking a position right ahead of earnings. Okay, so that's basically it. So again, if you're interested in the private member group, feel free to join up. If not, whatever, no big deal. But don't just sit on the outside and throw out shade. You got to freaking hold yourself accountable. And, I don't get all the trades right by far. I'm not going to get all the trades right. Nobody's going to get all the trades right, guys. So that's why, obviously, position sizing, stop losses, these are all basically discipline that you have to have when trading. But then I do get some trades right. But there seems to be a cohort of people that they're going to throw shade my way regardless of if I get it right or not. So that's all I got, guys. Wrap it up. Catch you on the next one.